I'm a tiny taggart in a brave new world, gonna free this town. If you didn't know about me already, well, you know it now.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Objectivist Girl. Today we are going to be talking about the next few chapters of We the Living, chapters 9 through 15. So let's go ahead and get started. We rejoin the Argonaves as their soap business fails, and Alexander must take up a new profession, swindling people out of drugs and saccharin. And Kira even had to skip studying most nights in order to help with this endeavor. Irina has lost her ration card, and Victor is bringing home strangers whom Marusa thinks are communists. As they are talking about all of this, Andrei Toganov shows up looking for Kira. Andrei doesn't say anything about the new work the Argonaves are doing, even though it is illegal, but he wants to talk to Kira in private. He tells Kira that no one will question her ever again. He's made sure of this. He doesn't want to talk about Leo and what he knows, but he does tell her that he sees her as a friend, though he doesn't know why. During this conversation, Kira asks Andrei if he believes in God. Neither of them do, but Kira says this is her favorite question to ask. Because if I asked people whether they believe in life, they'd never understand what I meant. It's a bad question. It can mean so much that it really means nothing. And if they say they do, I know they don't believe in life. When Andrei asks why she says this, she says, because God, whatever one chooses to call God, is one's highest concept of the highest possible. And anyone who places the highest possible above himself thinks very little of his own life. It's a rare gift, to feel reverence for your own life and to want the best, the greatest, the highest possible, to want it here, now, and for your very own. To want heaven and to not dream of it, but to demand it. You see, you and I, we believe in life, but you want to fight for it, to kill for it, even to die for it. I only want to live it. The next day, Kira meets with Leo, and she asks her to run away to Germany with him. She accepts. They left without luggage or goodbyes for the boat, hoping they would not be caught, for it was illegal to leave the country. By morning, the boat had been caught. The soldiers allowed their new prisoners and lovers to dress after their intimate evening, and then Leo told officers that he had kidnapped Kira and they were to let her go, and he will sign anything they wish. They let Kira go and took Leo away. Kira went to the GPU to get news about Leo. It is revealed that it was Leo's father that the government was really after, and he is dead now, so Leo is going to be a free man who no longer has to run. Kira had a hard time sleeping as they kept Leo for 3 days, but when he showed up at the door of her home, she was paralyzed with happiness. Then they left to his home, and in the morning, Kira went to get her things to move in with Leo. Her family was more than happy to see her go, for to them it was a sin to express love before marriage. Leo and Kira were doing better than the Argonaves. They had the luxury of kerosene, and Kira used it to cook for them. Kira found herself in a hurry to get home from school and finish her homework so she could spend time with Leo. After Kira paid a short visit to Irina, she came to see her. Kira also confesses that she feels like she can tell Andrei anything, which is strange because she fears communists. Andrei tells her that he just wants her to be happy, but she never mentions the reason for her happiness to Andrei, and he never asks. She finds this peculiar, and she asks him why he never asked. He says it doesn't matter to him, the why. Another thing that we learn in this chapter is that Asiya, Kira's youngest cousin, seems to have a learning disorder and is falling behind in school. This is part of the undereducation of public schooling. Also, we find out that English is forbidden to be taught. And undereducation and public schooling is something that I'm going to be talking about in my key video this month. So stay tuned for that. Kira also goes to a play with Andre at the end of the chapter, and we find out that Leo is the jealous type. Though Leo knows about Andre, Andre doesn't know about Leo. Andre thinks Kira is still living at home with her family. Irina comes by and tells Kira that her family is starving after Kira gets home from standing in the ration line. Kira gives her the bread and tells her to tell them that it was stolen or anything, just not that it's from her. The next day, her mother shows up and asks if they can put the past behind them and that she is done judging Kira. She also tells her that she knows about the bread. She asks Kira and Leo to come visit. It was illegal to buy from the private vendors at the train station, but Leo and Kira decided to take the risk. They saw a man grabbed by the police, and in exchange for them to not search him, he turned over a woman who had pills for her son's scurvy. She was promptly arrested, and the man saw Kira watching the interaction. He motioned them over and sold them ham and bread. The next day, Vava calls Kira and invites her to her party. She asks her to bring Leo and someone for Lydia. Kira asks if it is all right if he is a communist, obviously speaking of Andre. Vava says this is fine and asks Kira to bring one log for the fire so as to heat the living room. Kira was looking forward to introducing Leo and Andre and letting Andre know what was going on. She had feared bringing it up to him because she didn't really want him to tell her that he didn't agree with love, which is also incredibly peculiar. Kira had Andre meet with them at her old house, and they went to Vava's from there. Vava was very taken with Leo and was slightly rude to Andre. The party was a bit forced. Everyone was uncomfortable with their worn-out old party clothes and were not used to parties or the kind of gay atmosphere that it was supposed to intend. Victor spent up the party trying to impress Andre, and Leo spent it making snarky comments in return. Vava's father had a lot of money because of his performing not technically legal surgeries, and so they shared food with the guests and they kept dancing the night away afterward. Leo also made it very clear later in the night to Andre that Kira was his, as he whisked her off to a bed on a provided mattress. But Andre still asked in the morning if she sees him often. She decided based on his tone not to tell him the truth. Russia was a new country, the USSR. They also had a new constitution. Kira and Leo spent a lot of time escaping to the country to get away from all of it, the poverty and the obvious tyranny in the streets, as the soldiers stood and watched everyone's every move. Once they tried to spend the night in the country, there were so many government hoops to jump through that they decided to just return home. Kira's mother was now teaching sewing, which was bringing a little money in for the family, and Alexander was spending the days lazing about. Kira and Leo lost a room to a tenant that the government forced them to have live there. Andre got back from Soviet duties. He narrowly escaped being shot and burned alive while on the duties, though. He was very happy to see Kira. Leo also refused to volunteer to teach German, so he was fired from his job because he was not properly giving his life for the social good. Leo found it hard to find a job after that because he had been labeled too bourgeoisie-minded. Kira and Leo found their love fading through this experience. Their fun and communication lessened, and so did the food on the table. Both Leo and Kira were trying to fool each other into thinking that there was more food and that either of them were eating. Leo did finally find a job tutoring, and Kira was washing dishes in a private restaurant until it failed. While their lives were falling apart, there was more and more anti-capitalist propaganda surrounding them every day, from slogans in the street to movies to discussions they had when they were looking for work. The new landlord also started holding meetings at the house talking about the repairs that needed to happen in each building and divided the finances among the tenants, each according to his class. The higher class paid more, of course. From each according to his ability 2 each according to his need. The next day, a woman came to move into the drawing room, Leo and Kira's second room, which they were entitled to because they were not married, and the landlord took money from Kira, stating that he would fix the problem, only to tell Kira that nothing could be done. They went to the People's Court to appeal the case. It was decided that Kira and Leo would not regain the room because of the fact that they were sexually intimate, and this made them the same as married. Marcia, the new tenant, turned out to be unbearably loud and far too flirty with Leo. Kira's aunt died a few days later while she was trying to take care of her. She died right in front of her little girl and husband with no doctor there. When Kira got home that evening, Leo was there by the fire, coughing. She met with Andre the next day, and he bought her some pastries. As he saw her reach for the pastries, he realized how starving she was. He ordered everything in the restaurant, and he found her a job through influence and then gave her a wad of cash. At her job, Kira slowly seemed to be conforming to societal expectations so that she can keep her job for Leo's health. Meanwhile, Leo is getting upset that she can't find a job and is irritated that Kira is doing all of the work and cooking while going to school. He feels like a failure. Kira is attending communist meetings in order to keep the societal expectations and her job. And this is where we leave off for this month. Next month, we'll go over chapter 16 and on through the next 100 pages. I hope you've enjoyed We the Living, and I hope that you will go ahead and read the book. So thank you guys for watching, and of course below you can find links to my Facebook, Twitter, and blog so you can hear even more from me. Also, there's a link to my song Shrug, and also if you like this painting behind me, you should check it out. I have a link to the painter and his website so that you can order anything painted on this beautiful canvas. So remember guys, knowledge is not for all men, but for those who seek it, so keep seeking.